my name is BK, and we are here on Talk Sports. As you all know, in the Gambia, we bring the ideas and details of football matches right here on Talk Sports in Gambia. In the house today, I'm having the eloquent people, Mr. Dampha, the Gunners man in the building. The Gunners man himself. He never give up.
No.
And by my right hand side, I'm having the Manchester United man who have always been there for his team, who never give up and relents on whatever that come.
Red devil till I die, red devil till I die.
Now, so my brother. Yeah, nevertheless, we must talk about the previous game because many people are still talking, saying that what is really wrong with Manchester United at 3-1. So, what can you say? The Gunners man, Mr. Dampha.
I expected it. It's not something that was a surprise to me, you know. So when it comes to the tactics, I knew that Ten Hag will come pack boss. That one I was 100% sure. Said in a compact boss, compact ship, compact container, everything they will pack, you know. So I know, and I was not surprised. What I think worked for them was that they were looking at mistakes, which we gave them with that Havertz pass, and then they capitalized.
Able to convert
but
it.
if you see in the first half, they only had one penalty box entry inside our 18, which was the goal,
Rashford goal.
Yeah. So I expected them to pack the bus. They packed the bus, and I expected Arsenal to play their normal game, which they also did.
The game and then try on.
But I must say that Ten Hag is a very good coach, and he really prepared for the game because defensively, they were on top. The wingers were tracking back. Anthony was tracking back. Even Rashford was tracking back. So he got his tactics spot on in the first half. I feel in the second half, the game was a bit open because players were a bit tired. It was hot on that day as well. So that was that. But then Manchester United fans think that they played well, and looking at ball possession, you might think yes, they played well. They had 45% ball possession. 50. Okay, 50% ball possession. You know, so you might think it was an even game, but it was not, because most of their possession was just Onana and the defenders passing each other. No penetration, you know, and the chances that they had were few. When you look at the XG as well, Arsenal overperformed them. Arsenal had 2.68, and United had 0.89 expected goals. So if you look at XG as well, we dominated them. And then the point of contention, which I know they are going to come up with, saying Højlund should have had a penalty. What was the other one? Bukayo Saka should have had red card. What's it called? Even the goal Rice scored, they said Evans was fouled when it was the opposite.
Even Garnacho goal, people are
Thank
still
you, the upside as well. So they should just accept defeat. Just accept defeat and prepare for the games to come. But I really liked the game and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, the Manchester United man, you have listened to the Gunners man. He uttered one statement talking about the red card, Saka, and the disallowed goal from Garnacho. So, what can you say about the game? Like, what is your own perspective towards the game? Like,
yeah. So for me, I agree with him. The game is the game. It's football. We played. We lost 3-1. Garnacho, people are still talking about Garnacho's card. Garnacho's offside. For me, I feel like it's an offside. Because if it was called for us, we wouldn't be arguing. It's football. That's why VAR is there. VAR, yes, sometimes they get their judgments wrong. But for that particular one, I believe it was an offside. Gabriel Magalhaes was very smart there with what he did. And we could all see that Garnacho already had his arm stretched out for the run, so it was a clear off. My only issue was the penalty on Højlund, because when I watched the game, I felt like it was a 50-50, and he lost the ball and he fell down. But after the game, when I watched the videos on Twitter and all, you could see that everybody knows Højlund is a left-footed player. He had his man, he beat the man, the ball was there for him to shoot, and Gabriel Magalhaes outstretched his left arm and it was put it around him and brought him down.
But football is a contact sport.
Yeah, it's a contact sport. It's a contact sport, but we've seen less penalty given for less than that in football.
But
We've seen for less.
Can we compare and contrast that to
Havertz?
own?
So now, in Havertz's own,
There was contact too.
there was no contact.
There was.
I'm going on camera and I'm saying there
Power.
was no contact on Havertz's
There
own.
was
That far.
contact.
Wan-Bissaka went and it
In
was
fact,
like
there was two contact. There was contact from Wan-Bissaka and there was contact
there was
from
no
Casemiro.
contact. Maybe
So
you
two
might
contact.
say Casemiro and I'll be 50-50.
Even
But
Wan-Bissaka,
Wan-Bissaka one,
yes.
I watched it. He went and then Wan-Bissaka quickly realized that he was in the box and this was Bates.
Power, I
and
feel like saying you
being
need
the smart,
glasses. You need glasses. There was
Give me-
contact
There was no contact
from two
for
people,
Havertz's pen.
two players.
There was no contact. If they checked VAR, and they didn't give the penalty because there was no contact. But if if the referee had gone to VAR for Huchlon, well, it's Man United also. This season, we've really seen calls go against us. So maybe they will still have not given. But every normal ref will have given a penalty for the challenge on Huchlon in the second half.
But when talking about Manchester United defense, we've seen that they brought in Maguire, they brought in the old man Evans as well.
That is
So
why
what
Arsenal
is
won
your
now.
own-
That's
Do you
the
think
only
that
reason
is
Arsenal
that
won
is
now.
Okay,
Really?
okay,
Even my school team, if we see Maguire and Jordi Evans coming up from the bench, I will tell my attackers, attack, hard,
But-
go,
yeah,
go,
BK.
because
No, they want to. No.
okay, they want to what?
They just want to make them scapegoats. The goals that were conceded, the last two goals,
Yeah.
were not the fault of either Maguire or Evans.
Evans, yeah.
No.
Yes.
Because the corner that was scored,
Yes.
Evans in fact was trying to get to the ball and was blocked
Trying.
by Gabriel. Yeah, but he was there.
But you
So
said,
it's not his fault.
you said Gabriel. You said he was the one that fouled Gabriel earlier.
Yes, he did.
So why was he wasting time fouling Gabriel?
You
instead of
mentioned
blocking
it,
the
you
ball that was in
mentioned
front
it,
of
you
him?
mentioned it.
Maguire was behind him. Instead of you blocking the ball, you are standing behind Evans, waiting for. Rice had 10 minutes to kick that ball.
But didn't you think that
Declan
they are
Rice
trying
had-
to form a wall to stop
Block
any
the ball.
ball?
Thank you.
Declan Rice
block-
had 10 minutes. The ball landed. Everybody was sitting down. We were watching. If he wanted to even use his hand and carry that ball and enter the net, nobody would have stopped him. He had time. Where were the defenders? Martinez would have jumped in front of that shot.
Now can you?
Martinez,
But you think
Martinez that faked an injury
Why would you say?
when the game was getting tough. Yes, he faked injury because we
Because right
saw
now he's here in Argentina
and
training.
he's fit training.
But you can recover in one day, right?
No.
You can recover in
That
2 days,
is-
right?
that is.
Things happen. We are not in the field. We don't know what happened.
But what is
Things
super
happen.
sub?
BK.
Gabriel Jesus.
I thought it got hot in the kitchen and their butcher ran away. Yes, butcher ran away from kitchen.
So
Kitchen Kitchen day too hot.
By United, you see what you are costing for me. Gabriel Jesus
Yes.
has not scored. The commentator said it that he didn't score in 13 appearances against United, and for some reason, when he entered, I just knew that today was the day he was going to score that goal. It was everything was just written in the stars for Arsenal. I'm just trying to tell Arsenal that yes, they played well, but we came with the tactics, and I believe that my team played that tactics to perfection. People are blaming ETH. I don't know what they expected from ETH. Whether we should have played possession against Arsenal in the Emirates, whether the midfield should have done more.
But
I
do
don't
you
know.
think it's a good tactics or good
Against a team like
game plan
Arsenal,
from
it's a
the
good
coach?
tactics. You don't use it against Nottingham, Luton Town, Crystal Palace, all this team. You use
so
it
to
against
defense
teams.
against Arsenal?
Top team.
For me, it's a good.
But
top
Manchester
teams. Arsenal
United
top
is a
team.
big club.
Yes, United is a big
Not
club,
just
but-
big club.
Bigger than
It's
Arsenal.
a well-known,
Yes.
And I'm an
reputable
Arsenal
club.
fan. I'll
But
accept that
we
United
agree that
is bigger than
Mourinho won the
Arsenal.
Premier League using the same tactics, and he didn't even use it against.
Yes,
he
but
used
that
it
was
against
then.
every.
Okay.
That was then.
But it's
BK.
football.
You can't compare them.
I told Manchester last week, I told them, you cannot win the league in this era of Pep and this era of money in football, playing the kind of football that Manchester United plays now. The reason for that is, in the long run, it's 38 games for a season, right? So in the long run, every English team, top flight in the Premiership, has attackers that can score you at any minute.
Anytime, yeah.
That is just there. So what you need to do is control the game long enough for them not to have those chances to score. That's what City does. City will hold the ball and pass 100 passes before the opposition can even touch the ball. What that does is it demoralizes the team. You know, if you see ball for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes,
So
you're demoralized.
So, yeah,
But
yeah.
then,
So
but
by the
you
time
also
you get the
but
ball,
then what you are saying
Yes.
is what ETH was doing last season,
which
for
is
us. Possession playing football. We control games, especially in OT. The second half of last season, we had a run. The run that started from Man City when we won Man City 2-1.
Okay.
For a while, everything we played till Crystal Palace 1-1. I remember Olise's free kick.
free kick, yeah.
We control, we play, we keep the ball in
Dominate
your,
the game.
we keep the ball in your end of the
Ball
field.
possession.
But what I'm trying to say is, you can do that against all these teams, yes. But ETH is a smart coach. I don't really stand him, but he knows what he's doing. But you don't do that against City. You can't go and say you dominate City. You can't go and say you dominate Arsenal. You can do it against Chelsea, because they don't really have that team that you should let.
Baby FC.
Well, there are some team, even all these small teams that will come out to play.
Yep.
Yes,
Yes.
they will play their
Like
football.
Like
Whether you're
Brighton,
beating them or not,
Newcastle,
Burnley,
Brighton,
whether you're
Burnley,
beating
if they
them or not.
continue
Yeah.
like this,
So,
they'll
No,
relegate.
those ones they are
I
going
beg,
back.
let's
Yes.
nevertheless let's also talk and look into the first 11 combined within the game.
Players that combined 11 for the game.
Yeah.
I would have Ramsdale in goal,
Okay.
because rightfully he conceded one goal, and even though United fans will talk about the passes that Onana had, he only had those passes to his defenders and to his defensive midfielder. I think only one long pass that I saw that was successful.
And which other player do you think?
Yeah. So Ramsdale and then Wan-Bissaka, who had a very good game, I think, against Martinelli,
Okay.
stopped him from having all those cutbacks.
Okay.
And then for the centre back pairing, I'll go with Saliba and Gabriel. Because Bucha ran away when the kitchen got too hot.
The butcher
And
man.
then left back, I will give Zinchenko, because Dalot, although he did well defensively against Saka, but he did not contribute anything going forward.
Boy, he stopped Saka.
Yeah,
from
but going
attacking.
forward, he did not contribute
But
anything.
that's the work of defender. You know, when playing against the toughest,
you
hardest
see, did you see
attacking player
Zinchenko's
like Saka.
position during the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was inverting in the right side of the midfield, not even the left side of the midfield.
But you know, they also know what they are coming to face, so they will never want to risk it all. You know.
But
So,
I'll put Zinchenko. Let's move
and
on.
the midfield.
Declan Rice.
Okay.
Jollof rice.
Okay.
Basmati rice.
Okay.
Yeah, parboil. No, that one is not parboiled rice.
The explicit rice.
Yes, the expensive rice. So that one, no need to say anything. It's just Declan Rice.
Okay.
And in the midfield, I'll start Odegaard. He had a goal as well, and was helping Arsenal dictate play. Kai Havertz, no. I'll have to remove Havertz from that team.
But many people.
He was at fault for United's first goal, for United's only goal. Anyways, he was at fault because the pass was lackadaisical.
A wrong
Very,
pass
very
made by
lackadaisical.
Havertz, but that doesn't justify that it leads to goal, because there are many defenders that can stop Rashford.
Now, at that point, he should have known that Rice has gone and pressed up the field. So when he won the ball, keep it for 2 seconds, pass back to Zinchenko, and then your defensive midfielder can come back and cover. Then you can look for
at
forward
that moment, is a decision that you need to take immediately.
That is Chelsea decision, not Arsenal play. Arsenal don't play like that.
What are you saying?
Yeah. So in the midfield, instead of Havertz, I'll put Eriksen in there, because he had an assist for Rashford's goal.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll have Eriksen with Declan Rice and Odegaard.
Beautiful.
And on the wings, I'll have Saka. And although Martinelli had a good game, he had an assist as well, but Rashford scored a goal. So I'll have Rashford on the other wing. Yes, I'll have Rashford on the other wing, Saka on the other wing.
Then the point man. Who do you think?
Rasmus,
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yes, Jesus.
The super sub.
I tell you, Jesus.
The wonder.
What is that?
The wonder guy.
Dalo is still sliding. He's going to Portugal. He has just passed the border to Spain. On his way, sliding to Portugal. Yes. So yeah, that's my.
The Manchester Hammer. What is your whole combined first level in that game?
We agree on almost every position. Ramsdale in the post, Wan-Bissaka on the right wing, kept Martinelli out of the game. Defense, we started Lisandro and Lindelof.
Lindelof, yes.
None of them. Lisandro was having a very good
Butcher
game
ran away.
till he had his injury, and then he
Kitchen hot.
But
Butcher run.
is it a real
Butcher
injury
run.
or is it just
I'm here in Gambia.
artificial injury?
I'm here in Gambia, so I don't know, but yeah, he had a good game till his injury. So I will play Saliba. Saliba had a very decent game, although he was at fault for Rashford's goal to an extent, but
Yes.
he played well. Megales, just because of the offside that he caused, the goal that Garnacho scored, what he did
The
there was
offside,
top.
not goal. Offside, not goal.
The goal that Garnacho scored.
The offside.
So what Gabriel did there was
Perfect experience.
was a mix of experience, intelligence, and as a defender myself, I love to say it. So Megales, Saliba, Wan-Bissaka on the left wing. I'm playing Dalot. Dalot had a very, very good game.
Dalot.
Yeah.
Dalot that is sliding.
He had a very good game. You don't use one man mistake
He was able to
Dalot that is sliding.
describe his whole life. Dalot had a very good game up till that moment of the game, but then it happens. So Zinchenko, you were talking about Zinchenko inverting. I didn't even see Zinchenko in that game. I didn't see what he was doing in the game. For me, all the inverting, everything that they say he does, Gambians will say Amujering. There was no importance, no goal, no assist.
Sometimes there are some key player. They will play, but you will not notice them.
No,
you won't
but
pay
even,
attention
but
to them.
even
But
then,
once they remove
but even
them,
then, Anthony, in as much as Anthony is, I don't want to use the word I want to use, but in as much as Anthony is not a good player, you could see that Anthony was going through that right wing easily at every time he had the ball. If you were watching the game, the only problem was when he comes out of there and he meets Megales.
BK.
He doesn't know what to do, but he was
okay, right on.
He was always so. I'll take Dalot over him, and then in the midfield you had Rice, Eriksen. Even minus the assist, he had a good game. He played maturely.
He had a good game.
Odegaard, and then on the flank, it's between Saka and Anthony. So Saka should not even feel like he did something because Saka and Anthony. But I'll choose Saka. But that doesn't mean that Saka did something in that game.
Saka got an assist.
It's just that it's between him and Anthony.
Saka got an assist.
He got what?
An assist for Rice's goal. Declan Rice's
Okay, if people want to tell yourself that.
Okay, so the other side.
And then the other side, Rashford.
Yeah.
Rashford
Sure.
did very well.
The main man.
Now in the middle, it's Rasmus Højlund.
Hi.
Yes, Gabriel Jesus scored a goal.
BK.
Eddie Nketiah did what he did. But Rasmus came into the game and he gave my team a focal point. And I appreciate that. I really, really appreciated that because we were lacking that in that game. So if I'm to make
because
a combined...
it really changed the game. Step up Manchester United
if
mindset.
I am to make a combined 11 from that game...
BK.
If I am to make a combined 11 from that game that should meet another team in the future, I'm going to take Rasmus over Gabriel and Nketiah.
Okay,
so, yeah,
BK.
So, that's just
we are going to take appreciation over scoring goal because you appreciate the striker. Fine, he had a good game when he came on. Yes, Højlund played well. But you are going to take appreciation over scoring a goal.
But
as a striker,
it's just like you go explain tire, no evidence. I tell you play, but no evidence. But why Gabriel Jesus play with evidence?
Thank you.
13 appearances against Man United. He finally scored on his 14th appearance.
Yes, that is evidence. Evidence to
14 appearance against United. He finally scored.
Now you also need to realize that there's this stat of Gabriel Jesus. He has not lost any game that he has scored in the Premier League. Every game that he has scored in, he's either win or draw. That's a very
great record.
That's nice.
Very good record.
So let's ride on. Let's talk about. Can we also look into the issue going on between Sancho and Eric Ten Hag? You know, people are still saying, is it proper? Is it professionalism way for a coach to come out and hear what is really going on in the dressing room, talking about maybe Sancho is lazy, blah blah blah. Is he a professional way to address the issue?
I'll let the United man.
Do you think it's a good decision made by the
first thing first. ETH did not insult Sancho.
Yeah, he didn't insult him.
He said that he was not satisfied with his training,
his attitude in training.
And for me, what that should even make you do as a player is try to build up that attitude in training. Because for ETH to come out and say this to the media, then ETH is tired. People have forgotten that ETH was the coach that gave Sancho 3 months off.
Yes.
3 months off. You don't hear that in football these days, where coaches are giving players that Sancho is on 350k a week, I think,
Yes.
or 300k a week, 350k a week, and then you are giving 3 months off, while other players there that are earning less than you are on the field battling week in, week out. So people trying to paint the picture that ETH is picking on Sancho, same Sancho that he tried to guide to reach his form. Sancho has played under 3 different coaches now, and you are still struggling. Then the problem is you. I feel like Sancho just doesn't want to accept.
But do you think is a proper way for a coach to come out and hear?
Coaches have done worse in the past.
Situation.
Coaches have done worse in the past, and football has gone on.
Because you know, we talking about the coach, we are also forgetting that the player also have their
feelings, they have
side too that they're supposed to respect. Because respecting the coach is fine. Nobody is bigger or above
the team. Yes.
But this is why.
Nevertheless, because if
this is why, in as much as Maguire is a bad player, people respect Maguire, because every United fan has given Maguire hits, but you will never see Maguire come out and say what Sancho is saying. They are paying you, whether you like it or not. They are paying you. It's your job, man. Like, yes, you're a human being. You are a man. You know, you have mental health and all these things. But then still, the coach has complained about your training attitude. He's not saying you are doing this or you're doing that. Training attitude. Why don't you come and prove him wrong? Why don't you do better?
Like Wan-Bissaka did, yes.
Wan-Bissaka, exactly. Thank you.
Yes.
Dalot, ETH came into the squad and was playing Malaysia. That was a left back at right back. When a fit Wan-Bissaka was in the bench, you don't see Wan-Bissaka go on media and say no. He stayed, he waited. This case of Anthony now that Anthony is having.
Yeah.
Will have been the perfect time for Sancho to get into the mix?
Yes.
In that right wing that he's looking for. You coming out to say this thing, you have destroyed that, because in as much as Sancho is a human being, the coach too is a human being. And at the end of the day, there's always ego, there's always emotions that will come to play. He's also a human being. He believes he is the manager of the club. Sir Alex had issues with David Beckham.
Yeah.
We sold Beckham, United continued. Jose Mourinho, everybody knows how Jose is controversial, especially with players. Even at Roma that he is in now, there was a right back there that he openly said that he wants to leave the club. Coaches do this all the time. Guardiola, to his KDB, a whole KDB, Guardiola talked ill about KDB one time. They are still playing. You don't let these things define you as a player. You instead you use them and motivate yourself. Rashford scored 6 goals. I think that was the season before last season. And we were all shouting, oh, Rashford is this, he's lazy, is this. He came back, he did stronger. So I feel like Sancho, at this point that we are in, he should use this. If he's as determined and if he's a serious player, he should use this as something that he should use to change his career. Because if not, he's going to end up like Dele Alli. The signs are already there. You have the quality, yes. Bukayo Saka doesn't have the quality that Sancho has.
But
Saka doesn't have the quality that Sancho has. But Saka
is you can't compare Saka with
our
Sancho
star boy
for now.
Star boy.
No, for now he's
star boy.
Not even for now.
In fact,
during the World Cup, they rate Saka.
BK, let me just interject there. Saka, on his birthday, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, was awarded England's Men's Player of the Year for the second time running. Twice in a row. Yes. Now, when people talk about Saka, they fail to realize that Saka is in a team that when he's playing on the wing, the defenders he will be double teamed, sometimes even triple teamed. If you leave Saka 1v1 with your fullback, it's the end for that fullback. So every team knows that. Whenever they're playing with Arsenal, it's 2 or 3 people coming in there.
Yeah, I'm not taking that from Saka. I'm not saying he's not a good player. But I'm talking about quality.
So
they broke into the squad, if you think of Sancho when he broke into that Dortmund squad and how good Sancho was in that Dortmund squad, most of these English players don't have the quality that Sancho has. It's just like Revel Morrison and Pogba. Pogba was good and all, but everybody knew that Revel Morrison was the star of our academy at that time. So, but at the end of the day, hard work You see it in Saka, you see him develop every season. You can literally see that this boy is doing something better every season. If he was shooting with his left last season, he's trying to shoot with his right this season. If he had the penalty scare in England in Euros, most players will never take a penalty again. He comes back and he's Arsenal's main penalty taker. This is what I'm trying to say. You, as a footballer, you need to learn to grow. Sancho and most of these English players are okay with being average.
Yes.
They are very, very okay with being average. Once they get that big paycheck, they are done. If you tell them anything, they see it as you are going against them. Mourinho had discussion with Dele Alli. Most of us have watched it. He told him, this was in 2020 or 2021, he told him how his career was going to go if he did not change. It looked like he was just talking. Look at Dele Alli's career today.
Nelson in Arsenal. He was the first to break through Haaland, come from the academy, even sent him on loan to Germany, big teams, and then he came back. But he could not break through the team, into the team, because of the players we had back then, the Ozils, Alexis Sanchez, and all of those big stars. But the thing with Bukayo Saka, as Power was saying, is that he improves every year. Improves every year.
Step up
And
his
most
game.
of I think with Reece Nelson and Sancho, is that they have stayed stagnant from where they were.
They don't want to step up their game at
But
all.
with regards to the Eric Ten Hag issue and Sancho, I feel, yes, Ten Hag has every right to say what he said, but you need to also look at the timing. So I feel the timing is poor, because if your team is doing well, you can do these kind of things as a coach. You're winning games, you're dominating teams, fans are all on your side, everyone is happy, there's a feel-good factor in the team. You can do these things. You can discipline certain players. Like when Ten Hag was disciplining Rashford last season because of coming late. Everyone supported it because United was doing well, know. But now that there are issues, United did not start the season very well, This coming out is just going to further disrupt the team. So for me, it's not that Ten Hag did anything wrong, but the timing is wrong. And then as well, I think Sancho coming out with a statement was also wrong. Because, yes, the coach has said what he has said about you. You don't like it. You're a football
Sancho
player.
did not say anything
No,
wrong.
the statement is there. He's tried to defend himself.
Yes.
Yes.
And he said he's ready to fight for...
I get it. But the thing is, he is saying that he has been training well, whilst the coach said he is not been training well. So it's two different sides of the story, okay? And that doesn't tell well about what is going on in the dressing room, okay? So imagine now, like Power said, Ten Hag has to put his foot down and show that I am the coach. You have to be disciplined.